I'm Melanie Kembry, and welcome to The Drop, where we dive into the latest in the world of pop culture and entertainment. Now, today is a very special episode, our inaugural Pop Culture Awards. From Rihanna's pregnancy reveal to Austin Butler's Elvis voice, we're going to debate and discuss the moments that have defined pop culture in 2023. Osman Faruqi is on leave, but I am joined on the judging panel by familiar figure Thomas Mitchell and one of my favourite people in the office, Robert Moran, or as they are collectively known, Rob Thomas.
Nice.
I'm so glad I got to make that joke.
It's actually Smooth is probably my go-to karaoke song.
Man, it's a hot one, like 7 inches from the middays.
And today it's a very hot one. So
Man, it's a
everything's
hot one, yeah.
everything's working.
That's so true. And how are we feeling about being on the judging panel for our first Pop Culture Awards?
I feel good. Thanks for having me on, even if it was just so you could make a Matchbox 20 joke to start the
So worth it though, I think.
Yeah, it was.
I think, unlike you, I don't get invited onto many panels. So it's like really nice to be like judging something.
I feel like you just judge without the panel though.
Yeah, correct. But it's nice to be officially like in my role now.
Okay, let's get into the awards. We can't dilly-dally all day. We've got a number of categories to get through, categories that I've just made up. So first up, let's talk about our favourite celebrity makeup or breakup. We've had Taylor and Travis. We've had Travis and Courtney. Rob, what couple stole the show for you in 2023?
All right. So it's been a very 2023 was a great year for hookups, celebrity hookups. Even in the last few weeks, you have Jeremy Allen White, Call Me From the Bear with Rosalia, the Spanish pop star.
That's a good one.
Thomas, you must be pretty sad about that. Or happy, I don't know.
No, I think they suit, actually. I felt sad because, he broke up with his childhood sweetheart. And we spoke about this the other day, after he got really famous from The Bear, I think he was like, this is probably my most, I should need to capitalize on this time. So sadly, he has left his wife, but I approve of this new relationship.
Okay, well, judging panel, there it is.
Gotta make use of your moment. You don't know when you'll have another moment.
Exactly.
So my choice for the couple of the year kind of jumps off that. Bad Bunny and Kendall Jenner. Maybe an unpopular choice, but it was the same kind of beginning for their relationship. So Bad Bunny had been with his partner for years. The fans really liked her. Gabriella, I think was her name. Anyway, so they split up. Bad Bunny, 2 months later, starts dating Kendall Jenner in February this year. Apparently, they started on a double date with Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber.
Wow, that's a strong start.
I was going to say, it's already one of those annoying details that kind of you can understand why the fan kind of feeling around it wasn't so hyped, so good. Anyway, at first I just kind of enjoyed seeing how much his public profile kind of
skyrocketed.
It went down.
Yeah, right.
The fans aren't into this. This guy dating a Kardashian, everyone turned against him. But anyway, it's been months now, almost a year. They seem to be going good. I feel like if you're still dating your partner in the face of such public scrutiny and hatred for a year, it's real love, right?
That's love. So you think they're going to stick it out?
I think so.
I assume, though, he will not appear on the Kardashians. He doesn't seem like... Because this is the thing with the Kardashians. Don't obviously get me started on Kylie and Timothy.
I don't want to get you started
But
on any
they
of them.
all seem to date, especially lately, men who are heaps cooler than them. So Travis Barker is a cool drummer. Timothy
is
Chalamet.
he a cool drummer?
Well, but he's
fact check that.
but he's cooler than the Kardashians.
I don't know. Okay, but
Sorry, are you the judge of cool now because they're in enormous
let's go
trouble?
With the even if technique, even if that were
sleeve
true.
tats, cool, right?
I still think he's cooler than the Kardashians. Then you've got Bad Bunny, cool. Timothy Chalamet, cool to some people. They're dating men that their fan base is then mortified at the idea that this person they love is with a Kardashian, and yet it seems to keep happening. So obviously there's something going on in that family that's very powerful, and I suspect it is their amazing bodies.
That couple I think is very wholesome. There was this great video, I don't know if you saw a couple of months ago, where they were out hiking.
Yeah.
The mosquito video.
And Bad Bunny's like, hey, mommy, watch out for the mosquito.
Mommy, be careful.
Rabies?
The mosquitoes.
I think that's a good pick. Thomas, I thought you were going to say for your couple, Kylie and Timothy. I know you've been perturbed by that, but what's your favourite celebrity coupling?
No, I hate that couple. My one's weird. It's Tim Burton and Monica Bellucci.
Yeah, wow.
I think that's so cool. I mean, Monica Bellucci is great, and we all love Tim Burton. And they just seem like, I'm all about like, finding a new soulmate later in life. I mean, not for myself. I'm very happily married. But I more mean like, this is like a cute love story. And I love both of these people individually. And the fact that they're now together, I was reading this interview with Monica Bellucci recently. She was like, what can I say? I'm glad I met the man. I just simply love him. And I think that's very cute.
Oh,
so like,
we're
obsessed with these young, hot celebrity couples, but this is a really nice older couple who have reconnected. They first met 2006 at the Cannes Film Festival, and now they're in love. So,
Oh, I like that. New beginnings, fresh start.
I remember hearing about Tim Burton and Helena Bonham Carter living in separate houses, like across the road from each other for however many years they dated.
Yeah.
Do you know if this is that kind of situation?
No, but then I also kind of like I can see the merit in that too. Anyway, I've got some stuff to unpack.
Yeah, don't listen to this one, Kate. All right, mine is actually, I've gone the breakup route.
Yeah, okay, smart.
Sophie Turner, Joe Jonas. Two people I really didn't care heaps about, but then we were all like captivated when they broke up, and their separation with all the kind of stuff about bad mothering and absent fathers and working mothers, all the like kind of polemic around it was very interesting, and it made much more of a splash than I thought it would be. And then I liked all the fallout. I liked Sophie Turner then becoming like one of Taylor's main girls, like that picture of them going out to dinner and now they're in a gang together. And I also like that now she's dating some kind of Viscount and she's spending her weekends at shooting parties. So I've just, the whole story has been great.
Definitely a step up from the second best Jonas.
Yeah, I mean, we hate the Jonas Brothers. They're a bunch of freaks. I do have a breakup, though, that I would like to add.
Okay, please.
Because I am personally invested in this one.
Okay.
So Sofia Vergara and Joe Manganiello.
Yeah, good.
Because I hate Joe Manganiello. Years ago, I interviewed him and for this stupid movie he made. Anyway, this is for a previous publication, not the esteemed Sydney Morning Herald or The Age. And in the headline, I referred to him as Mr. Sofia Vergara. I woke up to like 10 missed calls from his agent being like, Joe is incensed. He is an actor in his own right, one of the most exciting prospects in Hollywood. I was like, firstly, he's not. He's just like really jacked. Anyway, I've been off Joe Manganiello since then, and I think good for Sophia. I think she's better off without him. He's a talentless hack. She's a beautiful Colombian bombshell. So yeah, I think he's got a new girlfriend, but whatever. That was my favourite breakup of the year.
Yeah, great. And you'll be having to turn your phone off after this podcast is released.
And I already defamed someone, even though I said I wouldn't.
Can I add another breakup that should have, I wish had continued? Taylor Swift and Maddie Healy.
Oh, yeah.
The one that got away, as I call it.
How long did they date for?
Yeah, it was about
half an hour.
It was like 2 weeks in May. And
Which
that
sounds like a song that she would release.
Exactly. I feel there's going to be songs from both sides about it. But the interesting thing to me is, okay, the fans hated that relationship. Maddie Healy was in his kind of edgelord performance art phase, whatever he does. So she moves on to meathead
Travis
Kelce.
Complete antithesis of Maddie Healy. I'm just wondering, like, what is your type? Like,
yeah, and what went on that she needed to go so far the opposite way?
PR summits, I think, from her camp. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we will still see some songs come out of that, but we've got to move on. Let's go to our next category. Okay, standout scandal. This is the prize for the most shocking pop culture moment of 2023. Thomas, what can't you stop thinking about?
This one's going back a little bit, but I was absolutely captivated by the Gwyneth Paltrow ski trial.
Another celebrity trial gripping the nation as Academy Award-winning actress Gwyneth Paltrow faces off against Terry Sanderson in a highly publicized ski collision case. All eyes are on Park City, Utah, where Sanderson filed suit against Paltrow, claiming she rammed into him on the ski slopes back in 2016. He claims he suffered multiple broken...
I mean, we've had a few high-profile cases this year, but none were as kind of like fun and just ridiculously out of touch as this one. There were so many memeable moments. Gwyneth kind of like hauntingly whispering to him, "I wish you well," which sounded like a curse.
So good.
And, people called it the ski and run trial. It was just amazing. Gwyneth dressed like a character from a
aviators.
Ryan Murphy show. Yeah.
Yeah.
That I thought was just It was like pop culture theatre at its very best.
And did you know that now they are turning it into a play in the UK and it's called Gwyneth Goes Skiing, which is just chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Rob, what have you been stuck on?
All right. I know Scandival happened this year, which seems like the biggest scandal of the year, but I stopped watching Vanderpump Rules maybe like 8 seasons ago, so I can't help you with that one. Also, Robert De Niro and Al Pacino having kids in their
that's
80s,
yes,
90s,
that was a
whatever
big
they are. I
scandal.
thought that was a good.
They're both like over 85, which is fucking crazy.
Thomas is very upset by that. Even though before you were saying you liked kind of new beginnings at older ages.
Yeah, I'm happy for you to like hook up and like, you know, like find yourself
But
again,
just
like
with
start having sex
protection.
again, but like not like Robert De Niro.
Not bringing new life in.
Yes, no, he's got like 3 good sperm left. Just keep them to yourself.
Good point. But the one I'm going to go with is the whole circus that was The Idol.
You know, the American dream. Rags to riches. Trailers to mansions. You are fucking Jocelyn. Just be you.
Easy. I'll just do that.
Sam Levinson's HBO show that, about a struggling pop star, which attracted a lot of hate because it was bad and creepy.
I thought you kind of liked it.
This is where I'm heading to. Don't jump ahead.
Sorry.
All right. It feels part of a trend from the year, though. So with movies like Babylon and Saltburn that were so messy that they kind of became interesting after the fact. Like, it feels rare these days for bad things to even be released. Like, so I appreciate when, big swings miss so badly. But anyway, I know the Emmy nominations snubbed him, but I'm still on my The Weeknd for an Emmy thing. He risked his whole career to give us douchey male toxicity done to perfection. Everyone hated Tedros, right?
Yeah.
He could have made him charming because, this culture loves that kind of gray area and the anti-hero. We could have had a whole nother Jeffrey Dahmer situation with all these young women being hey, I think I'm attracted to Jeffrey Dahmer. Is that weird?
Confused about their Tedros, yeah.
But he didn't do that. He went for total douche. Sometimes we need like the Disney villain to all kind of gather around and hate. And The Weeknd did that for us.
But I think, are you giving him too much credit that this was a conscious decision where he was like, I could have done this, but instead I'm going to just be...
I think so. In real life, he's kind of charming, right?
He is, and he was so good in Uncut Gems. So, like, I see your point. I don't know if that was what was happening. I think maybe he's just a shit actor and possibly creepy.
You will never find out.
No, because there will be no season 2.
No.
Wow, Rob, the revival of The Weeknd's reputation that he very much needs after The Idol. I will never go over Troy in the shock necklace. Like Troy Sivan. Yeah, that was a lot. My scandal, it's more just a kind of moment. And actually, I realized probably started at the end of 2022, but moved into 2023 was the Nepo baby discourse, which followed. That was after Vulture published their The Year of the Nepo Baby article. And they listed all the children in Hollywood from all different fields that had kind of parents who were famous, like Lily Rose Depp, speaking of The Idol, Maya Hawke, Colin Hanks, Gracie Abrams. And I feel like that conversation just went on for months and months and months, and it still goes on. Like, they can't really, these younger Hollywood stars can't really get past that question. And I mean, it kind of came into Australia too, and people were doing interviews having to talk about their famous parents here as well. So I think
I did that.
you did. You put that
Sorry,
question.
Jane Campion's kid.
She handled it very well, though, didn't she?
She did.
Yeah, so I think that kind of trend, that realization that kind of having famous parents who get you to where you are or help get you to where you are is a bit of a scandal was a pretty interesting one.
I did love Hailey Bieber wearing the Nepo Baby shirt. Do you remember that? She wore like a slogan shirt when it broke and it was just said Nepo Baby.
Nice.
And like slogan shirt, as someone who shopped a lot at JJ's in the 1990s, I think slogan shirts should make a comeback.
Yes, I thought we definitely saw later on in the year that a lot of them were trying to reclaim the narrative around being a Nepo baby and like balancing privilege with kind of what they've done on their own. It's pretty interesting
If
discussion.
there's like no other way around it, just got to claim it, right?
Yeah, that's it. All right, let's move on to our next category now. This one's a nice one. It's the pop culture moment, person, or trend that made you most happy. I'll kick us off. Mine was a very humble guest at the Met Gala. This was the cockroach that stole the show. Do you guys remember this?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, this was...
Are you talking about Pete Davidson?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's good. He's got guns blazing in this episode, doesn't he? End of year fever. This was the cockroach at the Met Gala, one of the most glamorous night of nights of Hollywood. All the rich and famous and fashionable are there. A little cockroach scurried onto the carpet, and I think it was Variety that snapped a picture of it and started tweeting about the cockroach, which unfortunately, rest in peace, has since passed away. But yes, it was a moment the whole internet got behind because it was just such a wild juxtaposition of the very rich and powerful and then the kind of scum of the earth, as some might describe.
It was very funny, and it felt like one of those things. I think like Vulture, straight away, it was like 50 stories on the cockroach. It was like the cockroach that stole the show. Who is the cockroach at the Met Gala? And it's funny because the Met Gala has become like this flashpoint now for like, it feels like every year something crazy has to happen. Like obviously there's always the outfits and stuff, but it's always got this, like there's a moment now that we come to expect, and I guess the cockroach was that this year.
Yeah, it was great. And also I will shout out another thing that made me quite happy was Rihanna's pregnancy reveal. And the thing that made me happy about it was I'm very happy that she's pregnant. But during the reveal at the Super Bowl, do you know she came out and she had like her bump very much on display, but because people were reporting it in the office, but no one wanted to like name that she was pregnant.
I do remember this.
And it was like, she was so obviously pregnant, but everyone was kind of scared to say it in case maybe she'd just gained some weight. And so it was quite funny watching the stories roll out of like allegedly pregnant, puts belly on display, like the kind of euphemisms that were used until I think someone obviously got official confirmation.
Yeah.
But I also enjoyed that whole show. I thought she was great in it, and all the little white people running around like little mini Michelin men, they made me happy. So that was mine. Rob, what made you smile?
Kylie getting global attention at 55 for Padam Padam.
Yes.
Was fun. Such a feel-good comeback, and she could still get a Grammy for it next year even.
And then would you like to tell the listeners what you actually had to do this year involving Kylie?
And also talk us through your Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah, okay. My Spotify Wrapped, number one, top 1%, I guess, of the world. Kylie Minogue fan here.
It's just you and Danny.
Maybe Jason Donovan still have some. Yes, we wrote a story ranking all of her songs, which got a lot of hate mail about. We missed a few, I think.
And I think when we started it, we tried to do the rough math and we were like, it won't be that many songs. And then it turned out to be what, like 250?
Yeah,
Something
I didn't
like
even
that.
remember.
Yeah,
it was a
too
lot.
many.
It was enough to skew my whole algorithm for the rest of the year. But yeah, we made a decision to include some B-sides and some not. And the fans were like, made it known that I missed a few.
And now
Anyway,
you're
it
on
was
the
a good
Kylie
story.
ride for life.
Yes. But the other thing I wanted to mention was the whole 50th anniversary celebrations for hip hop. Like, this is a genre that's been so kind of ignored at awards shows for so long. So seeing rappers like Scarface and The Lox perform at the Grammys was like, it's like 12-year-old me was like waiting for that my whole life. But having said that, I don't need to see another 65-year-old rapper on stage for the rest of my life now. Let's give hip-hop back to the children.
Yeah, you're done. That's
Yeah.
very good. Thomas, what are you saying? You're banned from saying Sydney Sweeney. Just to
I
get
was
out
actually
of it.
trying to like thinking before we came on, will we get through this whole podcast without Sydney Sweeney being mentioned?
I feel like we can't.
Yeah, it's happened. Look, my one is possibly an obvious one. I thought the Barbenheimer thing was very fun. It's rare to have. We've come off the back of lots of disruption as a result of COVID in like, especially in cinema, and to have these two very different but equally high-profile releases from two like again very different but very talented directors and casts was like a really special moment. And at first it started as like a weird internet thing, like these same day release but so different. But it like was like it just felt nice, and like everyone got behind it. Both movies were great. We've since seen it become this like weird kind of symbiotic thing. We had Margot Robbie interviewing Cillian Murphy the other day.
Did you see any of the Barbenheimer?
I mean, it was
fan art?
impossible to
Wasn't there some great ones?
avoid any of that stuff,
People are so clever with the things they come up
it was incredible, and it was self-generated. You know what I mean?
I know. People kept asking me, they're like, so the studio's talking, each marketing department's talking to each other. And I was like, no, this is the world doing this.
The world.
This is not a part of the marketing campaign. This is just happening.
And I think it happened because like both movies were good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And there was a sort of a diversity offered by both.
And I just thought it was like a really nice pop culture thing. Often, you know, the default mode for these types of like conversations is snark, but I think everyone just enjoyed it. So yeah, I thought the Barbenheimer phenomenon was like a really fun thing for everyone to be involved in.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like I really want another one of those to happen.
Yeah.
We had Saw Patrol, which no one went to. Yeah.
That's very true. Okay, moving on. Now we're on to what we've called the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson Award for the pop culture happening that carried the most weight in 2023. So this is kind of a really important pop culture moment that kind of shaped the year in many ways. Rob, who was the heavy lifter?
Okay, 2 words. Fran Drescher.
The nanny.
The Che Guevara of Hollywood.
This is a moment of history. That is a moment of truth. If we don't stand tall right now, we are all going to be in trouble. We are all going to be in jeopardy of being replaced by machines and big business. Who cares more about Wall Street than you and your family? Most of Americans don't.
I feel it had to be the actors and writers strikes. Like even, you know, just the fact that so many productions got paused. Actors and writers were out of work for 148 days. It also affected us personally here in the Sydney Morning Herald, that we only got to interview directors for most of the year. Like, I like directors, but they're no Sydney Sweeney.
No. Okay, that's number 2.
Like, honestly, I still don't 100% know what came out of it. Something about AI and streaming residuals, right?
Yeah, I think they don't really know either. They're just like, we won.
So you actually didn't listen to Fran's speech at all?
No, I saw at the end she was happy, and that's all that counts. So,
As always, great. Did you like The Nanny? Or is this?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. It's long time Fran fan.
Exactly. Saturday Night Fever, was she in that? One of those. Anyway.
Thomas, what's yours?
Mine, I guess, is like, I feel like it fits into this category, but
Good.
It's not. It's sport related.
Okay.
I
We
feel
love
like
sport. We sometimes are a sport pod.
I feel like the Matildas fever became a pop culture phenomenon in a way because obviously, you know, Australia and New Zealand co-hosted the FIFA Women's World Cup, and the Matildas, you know, went on this amazing run. They kind of started the tournament shakily. It had all these like incredible narratives. Sam Kerr's injury, like, you know, was she going to play? Then we go play England in the quarterfinals. First time we ever made the quarterfinals. And very much the whole country, you know, just like got so swept up in Matilda's fever. You know, I was watching these shootouts with people I know, like friends of mine who don't like football, and people got so into it, and to the point where it did feel like it got past just a sporting phenomenon and became like the only thing we were all talking about for a couple of weeks, which was like so great to see. And, you know, probably pre-tournament, I reckon, like, for instance, you, Mel, could like name one Matilda Sam Kerr. But now I feel like all of them are like household names, and it's always special when like a sporting moment kind of takes over the country like that. And this, I think, particularly being here was great.
Yeah, I think that's true. And after, maybe it's something to do with after a few years of COVID, that things like Barbenheimer and the Matildas kind of brought us all together. We wanted these collective moments of...
Yeah, and you've signed up to a local football club now, which is amazing.
Absolutely, and Tottenham. Not that we're doing so well anymore. Look, mine was, in terms of shifting the narrative, in terms of its import for the year, Prince Harry's Spare came out at the start of the year. First time a member of the royal family has done such a tell-all memoir, was obviously a huge bestseller. It shone a light on his family in such an intense and intimate way. And while there was a lot of coverage of helicopters, like maybe too much coverage of the helicopters, really likes them. Like meeting Meghan, the way he frames that, the way he frames his whole childhood was fascinating reading. And obviously the consequences of that are going to linger long and large in the royal family itself, and also in, I guess, British history and the place of the monarchy there. So, yes, Prince Harry.
Yeah, nice. And no one can half-ass their memoirs anymore, right?
Yeah, that's so true. 800 pages or so, yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell if Harry's like where his... like the public view of him is at right now. Like, do people like him after the book?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah, I think we had like an overdose, right, of him after.
I think they don't like him, right?
You're off him?
I don't mind. I have no opinion whatsoever. I like them. I like that they told their whole family life. But I feel like there's a lot of traditionalists who are not really up for that.
Yeah. He kind of spoke against the family, which one should not.
Yes, right.
All right, let's move on to Captain's Call, another quite ambiguous category. But here we go. This is a chance for our judges to spotlight a piece of pop culture that they just want to shout out that didn't really, might have made them smile, might have made them kind of a bit perturbed, but here's your chance. Thomas, pop culture, what do you want to talk about?
Mine is not a fun one, sadly, but I think it is worth mentioning, which I like the Russell Brand story from earlier this year. It was a joint investigation by the Sunday Times, the Times, and Channel 4's Dispatches program, where basically 5 women accused Brand of abusive and predatory behaviour between 2006 and 2013. And it was one of those stories that, I mean, in terms of like the journalistic element, it was very impressive reporting, but it really opened up a big chat for everyone. We covered it on the pod. You know, this kind of thing where Brand had always been, you know, the subject of whispers, and he had that kind of like charming, cheeky, like, you know, oh, he pushes the boundaries. But, you know, after the allegations came out and people started to look at the evidence, it really opens up like, you know, what line are we pushing when we, you know, embrace and kind of like enable these types of characters? And I just thought, yeah, it was a worthy story, and it kind of kicked off some good conversations. And yeah, it is sadly too common in this industry for it to happen. But yeah, it was an interesting kind of moment for everyone to look back on.
Yeah, I feel like that was a real moment of reckoning at that time, that everyone had to kind of think about their own role and complicity in that too. So yes, not a fun one, but a important.
Just bring the vibes way down.
Yeah, important one. But I have a feeling I know what Rob is going to say, because sitting next to Rob, this is the only thing he really talks about.
It's true.
Rob, Captain's Call.
Mine is very unserious compared to that. Okay, well, first of all, it was a big year for prestige TV this year. I think we can all agree. Like all these shows that have dominated awards and critical acclaim for recent years, finishing up. Succession, obviously, Barry, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Ted Lasso, even though everyone kind of came to their senses by the
Ted
end.
Lasso, prestige TV.
It won awards, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, true.
It was
Yeah.
the hyped comedy for a while.
Yeah.
there.
Let's not get into a prestige TV
Yeah,
definitional
fine.
debate.
But there's one finale that people forgot. Riverdale.
Oh my God.
The second last episode of Riverdale is like classic Riverdale. In that it was clever, silly, ridiculous. It would take me days, maybe weeks, to explain the kind of intricacies of how we got to the finale there. But essentially, the episode explained how the characters got sent to a parallel timeline in the 50s to avoid getting killed by Bailey's Comet. But by the end, they got all their memories reinserted in this parallel timeline by basically watching Riverdale, the same Riverdale we all watched.
Wow.
Anyway.
This is really selling me on the show.
Yeah, that is-
you gotta get to a lot to get to that point. But anyway, now we're seeing kind of the legacy of Riverdale already play out.
Right here on the drop.
beyond the show, Charles Melton, who played Reggie, the football meathead, and Veronica's co-owner at Le Bon Nuit, he's getting raves for his role in May December, the new Todd Haynes movie, and he's tipped for an Oscar. Like, beautiful Riverdale legacy.
Rob exclusively wants to do stories on Riverdale alumni. Like now, like he'll be like, we should do something on this, and I'm like, why? And he's like, Riverdale. Like, there's
obviously
some
Riverdale.
Like,
Lily Reinhardt's got something coming up. Yeah.
do you think everyone will like Riverdale, or like what type of person, like what type of show do you think someone would have to like to also enjoy Riverdale?
You've got to appreciate absurdity, and there's a personal aspect. The director is obviously throwing everything he's ever loved in there. It's just like constant references, done in the campiest possible way. If you like camp and hilarity,
Fun
you'll
times.
enjoy.
All right, maybe I will. That will be my summer viewing. Like I feel like I owe it to you to understand you to watch this thing that's so
Go
important
for
to you. My captain's call has to go to Taylor Swift and the Eras tour. She has stolen the year, really, hasn't she? Like, I keep thinking Taylor Swift can't get any bigger. And then she just continues to. Obviously named Time Person of the Year, Travis Kelce, biggest selling tour of all time, I think. I've enjoyed all the TikToks around the tour. Like I don't have tickets at this stage. If you would like to go with me, please just feel free to hit me up. But I like all the TikToks and memes, and I like all the chat around how she changes each show and the little shout outs to Travis Kelce. So I think she deserves the captain's pick for the year, surely.
Yes, I mean, she definitely needs all the support she can get.
I enjoyed that day in the office where the lounge room circle of doom was just on everyone's computer trying to
that
get
was
into
so stressful. And then everyone was like, is the ISP going to stop us all? Yeah. Big. You didn't get tickets, did you?
No.
Yeah, and you still don't, right? No. Well, there you go. Hit us all up. Take the three of us for a good time. All right. Now, we've done some looking backwards. Oh, firstly, congratulations for presenting the first Pop Culture Awards. You all did fantastically. Now, we're going to do a bit of a brief look forward to 2024. Lots on the schedule, some kind of hypothesized, yet to be confirmed, a few confirmed. Robin, 2024, what are you most looking forward to?
There's a few things. There's a lot already confirmed coming up that is pretty exciting. The thing I'm most excited about is the return of pop's superstars. So Dua Lipa, Ariana Grande, Cardi B, they all have new albums either like scheduled or rumored for 2024. Just the other day, Ariana Grande shared some shots of herself in the studio, and I saw a comment under them saying something like, "Thank you for your service, Renee Rapp, Tate McRae, Sabrina Carpenter, etc. But you're no longer needed." Like 2023 did feel a bit like that. Like there was a dearth of those kind of big releases, except for maybe Olivia Rodrigo and SZA maybe. And so that's exciting for 2024.
What do you want to see from her new album? Like, what do you hope Ariana does with this one?
Well, obviously we want to see her touch on the whole divorce and hookup, right?
You want her most personal album today.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
There are also some big movies coming out like Furiosa with Anya Taylor-Joy, but the one I'm going to pick that I've been waiting for is Challengers, Luca Guadagnino's tennis/sex movie, I guess. With
What a combo.
Zendaya, yeah. So it was supposed to come out in September. It got delayed because of the strikes. And I read that Zendaya, to prepare for it, had 6 months of training with Brad Gilbert, Andre Agassi's coach.
Wow.
So that's something.
It looks so good, that film.
Yeah.
And like the stills they've released in the trailer, I think it's going to be one of the films of the year.
Yeah, I think it was, people were excited for it last year. So
I've
their
been excited for it
anticipations just built, yeah.
Yeah, so true. Thomas, 2024, what's it hold for you?
Like for me personally?
Sure.
I'm going for a total rebrand.
Good. I've been encouraging that for some time.
No, there's lots of cool shit coming out, but I'm mostly excited about these two things. First one is a TV series, which I've already spoken to, I think, both of you about, but Ripley. So we obviously love The Talented Mr. Ripley, the film. We all hated Saltburn. But this is like a reboot headed to Netflix, an 8-part series, and it stars Hot Priest from Fleabag, Andrew Scott, who is so good. So basically, this is based on Patricia Highsmith's 1955 novel. It's set in New York in the 1960s. Tom Ripley is hired by a wealthy man to convince his wayward son to return home from Italy. But Tom's introduction to Dickie, of course, played by Jude Law in the film, and his life abroad kind of then kicks off this complex, life of deceit. It's got Andrew Scott, as I mentioned, as well as Johnny Flynn and then Dakota Fanning. So great cast. Vanity Fair just last couple of weeks released some first look photos. The whole thing's in black and white. So I think it's going to be great. I think it's maybe going to come late 2024.
Black and white feels like a big call.
Yeah, I know, it does. Like, one of those ones that maybe after it comes out, it's like, is this an annoying artistic choice and you probably didn't need to do it?
Yeah, particularly with like lush scenes and beautiful people. Like, you want to see a bit of colour, right?
The whole thing about Talented Mr. Ripley that everyone loved was the beautiful Italian kind of...
countryside,
the sunlight, the sunset, yeah.
I forget the feeling it's going to be darker. Speaking of darker, my other pick is Civil War. So, are you guys across this new A24 film? So it's from Alex Garland. Obviously, Mel, you would know him from Riding the Beach. But he also directed Ex Machina, Annihilation, and Men. This film looks fucking amazing. So basically, the plot has been kind of kept under wraps, but we find America on the brink of civil war. And you've got like a really good cast. So Nick Offerman plays the president, who I think is basically going to be like a Trump-esque style president. Then you've got-
President Ron Swanson.
Yeah, he's got the moustache for it. And then you've got Kirsten Dunst playing a journalist who was swept up in a riot, which I think is meant to be like a kind of mirror of the Capitol riots. And you've also got Jesse Plemons playing a kind of like right-wing nut job. So I think it feels very meta, very of the time, and also, I think we can all agree A24 always worth checking out their stuff. So yeah, big raps on this one coming in 2024. That's Civil War.
Well, I wanted to ask you actually. I know you're a big fan of A24. You have an A24 shirt.
I do.
Often talk about their movies. How do you feel? Rob and I were talking about this. The momentum is kind of shifting against A24 now.
Yeah, they have. I'm so glad I spent $80 US on the T-shirt and shipping. It's good.
Surely it's going to be their year, A24 and 24.
I know. No, I know what you mean. I feel like, but this is the thing. Obviously, whenever you have like so much success, they crushed it last year, and also like they still had a really good year. Beef was like one of the best TV shows of the year. Inevitably, you're going to start to slip. I still am going to be like, I'm an A24 fanboy, and yeah. So
Yeah.
no use trying to talk me out of it. Guys.
The other
I've got the
thing
shirt.
is, when you have so much success, people would definitely want to see you fail. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
You stand by your A24. I'm happy for you. The one I'm looking forward to in 2024, Dua Lipa's album. I'm a big fan of Dua Lipa. She's so fun. I think she's fun and funny. She runs a book club. I should probably get in on that, right? So I'm looking forward to her new album, liked her stuff on Barbie, and she released a new single, which I didn't think was that amazing, but
Yeah.
I still like the vibes.
Produced by Kevin Parker, Tame Impala.
Oh, really?
Yes. But so I think that will be good. But also there's some few lady writers that
Here we go, boys. Strap in.
all right, put your A24 shirt on. Leslie Jamison has a new book coming out. Maggie Nelson. These are all kind of, they write memoir crossed with social analysis and cultural analysis. I think both of those books will be great. And Miranda July also has her first novel in a decade coming out. First Bad Man was her last novel. It's a really kooky, quirky book about a woman, hard to describe. But
I read that book.
did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that would be up your alley. But yes, so I'm excited to see her new one. Are you a fan of Miranda July?
I haven't read her books, but I know her movies. Kajillionaire, the masterpiece.
Yeah, totally.
I must admit, on the way in to record this podcast, I panic Googled Sally Rooney new book 2024. Nothing coming. So I can't recommend that.
Taking a break.
Yes.
Well, let us move on to our final Impress Your Friends of the year. These are our recommendations that we give to you that you can kind of, well, as the name says, impress your friends. Rob, what are you impressing us with?
Okay, this week I watched The Holdovers. It's Paul Giamatti and Alexander Payne reuniting 20-something years after Sideways. Everyone remembers Sideways. It's the movie that single-handedly killed Merlot.
What is it? What's the quote? No fucking Merlot or something? Yeah.
Exactly. They're a good pair. Payne's got that deadpan humor, and Giamatti plays like a misanthrope. He plays a boarding school teacher in
Does
this
he
one.
ever not play a misanthrope?
I didn't know too much of his work outside of Alexander Payne stuff. I feel like he's always kind of that dowdy, kind of
Balding.
depressed old man. Yeah. Anyway, if you like 70s movies like Harold and Maude, or movies with lots of brown suits, or like Cat Stevens on the soundtrack.
I love Cat
Nice.
Stevens.
Yeah, this is your thing. And in movie credits where they list the date it was released or made in Roman numerals,
Yes.
this one has MCMLXXI, which, if my Roman counting is correct, is 1971. So they're in on the joke a bit.
Well, that's
Anyway,
very good.
it's out Jan 11, so good holiday viewing.
I have seen it. It's been released overseas and it has been on heaps of best of the year film lists. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Thomas, would you like to attempt to impress me for once?
I mean, you can't be impressed because you've long given up being impressed by other people because you're only impressed by yourself. But my one is not as probably as highbrow as Rob's, but I really enjoyed season 2 of Dr. Death. That's on Stan. So did you guys watch the first season of Dr. Death? They're based on the Wondery podcast. So basically, it's, these true stories of, I guess like controversial, possibly illegal, famous surgeons who have done huge amounts of malpractice. The first season had Joshua Jackson. Season 2 stars Edgar Ramirez, you guys probably both know. And then, more importantly, singer, songwriter, actress Mandy Moore.
Wow.
You may remember her from A Walk to Remember.
I surely do.
Yes. But the actual Wondery podcast is great. So this is based on a real man, Paolo Macchiarani, who was named the Miracle Man, a charming surgeon. Like we all know this story, particularly here in Australia. A charming surgeon who's, the kind of rogue guy who only does these type of life-changing operations that no one else will do. But Mandy Moore plays an investigative journalist who starts to kind of look into him, but then also like falls under his spell, and then lines start to blur. Professional ethics are out the window, but then she also realizes he perhaps is not who he says he is. It was really, really good, better than season 1, I think. And again, I think in this time of the year, it's nice to just like indulge. It's semi-trash, but it's like nice to indulge in that type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's Dr. Death on Stan.
Oh, very good. I like that. And I've got a podcast. I think it's the first time we've mentioned a podcast in this section.
You can't mention other podcasts.
Yeah, I'm banned.
Unless it's Please Explain, which is so good.
Yeah, we love that. Well produced.
Yeah.
Are you guys across Esther Perel?
Of course.
Yeah, the psychologist. So this real like pop psychologist figure who I feel she's on every podcast ever at the moment.
She also makes a cameo in season 3 of The Morning Show.
Oh, does she?
Playing
As a
herself.
guest? Yeah, good. Who is a couples therapist and kind of does talk therapy and really gets into the weeds with couples. But she's got a podcast where she records the sessions with the couples as she tries to figure out their problems and help them see each other in different ways. Well, there's a very funny spoof of that. Amy Poehler's podcast, Say More, with Dr. Sheila, and there's question mark above the doctor, or be set next to the doctor. She plays a therapist and she interviews actors who play the couples, and it's all improvised. So like we've got guests like Tina Fey, John Early, Abby Jacobson, Kate Blanc, Janine Brito. So really funny people playing the couples, and she kind of sets them up and they go off like kind of on their tangents. It's a really, really funny podcast, like just a good time listen.
I'm shocked she got Tina Fey. That must have been a hard get for her.
Yeah, very good. Good. I think you could learn a lot from it personally.
Yes, I think we should go. You and I probably need to go on a podcast and unpack our relationship at
I
some
think you're
point.
going to say we need to go on to see a therapist.
Well, either that or a podcast.
Well, I mean, we have that. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, guys. That's our last The Drop for the year. Thank you so much for being part of the inaugural awards. Any feedback for next year?
It was that perfectly oiled machine, I think.
Good, great reviews. Well, have a great New Year's, and we'll be back in 2024 to do this whole thing all over again.
Looking forward to it.
This episode of The Drop was produced by Chi Wong. If you enjoyed listening to today's episode of The Drop, make sure to follow us on your favourite podcast app. Leave us a review, or better yet, share the episode with a friend. I'm Melanie Kembry. See you next year.